Okay, here we have a function, and we are asked to find f of 8. And we're told that f of x is x minus 6 divided by 2. So f of 8, if we just replace x with 8, we're going to have to do 8 take away 6 divided by 2. Well, that's the same as 2 divided by 2, which is 1. Okay, to find the inverse function, what we need to do is write the function, first of all, as y equals x minus 6 over 2. And our job now is to rearrange this to make x the subject. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is multiply by 2. So if I multiply both sides by 2, the left-hand side becomes 2y. The right-hand side is now x minus 6. And to get x on its own, I'm going to now add 6 to both sides, which means that 2y, if I'm adding 6 to the left, I get 2y plus 6. Add 6 on the right, and I'm left with just x. Now, to find my inverse function, f minus 1 of x, remember we swap, this is the inverse function, but we literally swap x and y, so this becomes 2x plus 6. So that's my inverse function. Okay, we've got another function now, which says that g of x is the square root of x minus 4. Which values of x can't be included in the domain of g? Now, this is based on the fact that you have got to think what numbers cannot be put in instead of x. Well, essentially, we can't find the square root of any number which is less than 0. So the values of x which can't be included in the domain is anything which is going to give you so that x minus 4 is less than 0. Now, if x minus 4 is less than 0, if I add 4 to both sides, x is less than 4. So essentially, if x is anything less than 4, so for example, if x is 2, you'd be finding the square root of 2 minus 4, which is impossible. You can't find the square root of a negative number. Okay, so these are the values of x that you can't have in the domain. Okay, question now says the function gf. Now remember, to find gf of x, we don't do anything with g to start with. We just literally write down g, and then we substitute in our f of x, which is x minus 6 over 2. So x minus 6 divided by 2. Okay, now we know that g of x is the square root of x minus 4. So g of this lot is the square root of this lot. So x minus 6 over 2 take away 4. Now we've got to write this as simply as possible. So I've got a fraction take away a whole number. I've actually got to do the maths there. So I'm going to write x minus 6 over 2, and it helps here to think of the 4 as 4 over 1. Makes subtracting the fractions just that much easier. Okay, what I've got to do now, I've got to make it so that I subtract the fractions, the denominators have got to be the same. So I've got x minus 6 over 2 here. If I make the second fraction, so it's also got 2 as a denominator, I've multiplied the bottom by 2, so I multiply the top by 2 to get 8. Now, because the denominators are now the same, I can write these as a single fraction, which is x minus 6 take away 8. And if I now simplify the top, I end up with the square root of x minus 14 divided by 2. So gf of x is the square root of x minus 14 divided by